All right, guys, Michael here from LS1 Tech, and we are here today with the LS Swap Guru on Instagram and on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen any of his videos yet, but I'm a huge fan personally, so I reached out to him because he's local. We at LS1 Tech and our co-site Racing Junk, we are hopefully planning to do an LS3 swap into a 1992 Buick Roadmaster wagon, so it's kind of funny. He's actually working on a 1992 Buick Roadmaster sedan back there.
Yep.
So anyway, so he's agreed to let me follow him around every once in a while and learn from him, and hopefully we'll work together on a few things. But I just wanted to get to know you, dude. So welcome.
Thank you, man.
And so tell me a little bit about yourself. Growing up, like, were you always into cars as a kid? Is it that classic Matchbox? I had Matchboxes and Hot Wheels growing up and all that stuff.
It was. So just to start off, I want to say thanks, Mike, for coming by. He came all the way out here to South Central LA, where I'm located. My YouTube channel, like LS Swap Guru, that name was actually given to me by my subscribers and a good buddy of mine. Pretty much how everything got started. I've always been into cars. When I was younger, I always loved Chevys, but it was Chevys, Camaros, Mustangs, whatever it was. If it was a car and it was fast, I loved it. The first car that I ever purchased was a 77 Caprice Aerocool with the glass house window, and I loved that car, and I bought it for $1,000. It had 77,000 miles, like I said, and I wrecked it. Maybe 2 weeks later, I got cut off, so that was kind of a bummer.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, and after that, my first car that I ever built, that I did my LS swap in, was a 96 Impala. What I did with that one was, I did an L92, which is a 6.2 out of a truck with a T56. And from there, it just kind of, I don't know, a couple people hit me up, asked me, can they get some work done? And I kind of was like, sure. I started off at super low. Even now, I'm still affordable. And I feel I do great quality work. I also show, I'm not one of the people who make a video and it's about 30 minutes or 30 seconds. I actually show, if I messed up, I show my mess up. If something need to be corrected, I show how I corrected it. It's not really a DIY channel, but it's basically showing my work and all the things that I've done. And as far as cars, I always loved cars. Like I said, when I was 18, I was supposed to buy a 68 Firebird. And it's funny because now I have a 68 Camaro, and it was my first income tax check that I ever got. It was like, I don't know, it was like $3,000 or something like that. The guy only wanted $3,200 for the car. And the day that I got there, the car was actually driving off, and I thought it was maybe him going to get gas, and the guy I was supposed to buy it from came out the house. I'm like, where's the car? He was like, I just sold it. So it was kind of like a bummer, man. But like I said, that's pretty much it, man.
Cool. All right, so when you were doing your first swap was on that 96 Impala, like you said.
Yep.
What was the biggest mistake you made in your first swap? Like, what was the thing you learned that you should always pay attention to that you'd never do again?
Information.
Okay.
Well, when I did my swap, it was in 2011. I would say that's still fairly new for the swap. Obviously, people done it before that, but it wasn't a lot of information online, and I think I could have did a swap for a whole lot cheaper. For example, like I told you, I'm using KDS mounts on that build over there. I ordered BRP. So between my motor mounts, my headers, and my cross member, I spent like almost $1,500. With KDS, you can go with KDS mounts, you can go with an LS1 oil pan, and a cheaper cross member, and you'd be less than $500.
Oh, wow.
So I was more into, I'm not going to buy anything cheap. I'm going to get the car done right the first time, and this, and that. And I did that. Everything worked out, but I could have saved a lot more money with me doing that. So I think you have to really look into the information. Don't buy things twice. Do it right the first time. Don't cut any corners. I don't recommend using any old harnesses. Reason being is because you got to keep in mind, these harnesses are like 20 years old. Buy you a brand new plug and play harness, and if you're going to take it to a shop, I would just say do your research on that shop. Make sure they actually have cars on the ground that's running and driving, and be patient about it, because I've ran into so many cars as you know, for example, Mike follows me on my channel. There's so many cars I ran into mistakes on. I tell people 2 months, and for example, I'm working on a Monte Carlo, and I've already passed my deadline, but I'm not going to let a car go until it's 100% correct. So make sure you just do a lot of research. Don't be afraid to ask around, ask questions and stuff like that, and I think you'll be okay. I think any person with the basic tools can do their own swap. It's just very time consuming. It's a little frustrating. You just got to take a break and get back to it when you can. Don't rush it. It'll fall through when it's time.
Right. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I personally enjoy your channel is that you are very encouraging of your subscribers, helping them learn. What was you did a long 55-minute live stream a few months ago where you talked about the basic essentials, but is there would you mind condensing that down into just a quick list of the bare bones stuff you need when you're doing an LS swap? Because basically the thing I've learned from your channel is that almost any 80s and 90s GM car or other models, other makes can be improved with one of these engines because they're reliable and powerful.
Yes. I'm going to start with dropping it in.
Right.
All you need is motor mounts. On most vehicles, all you need is motor mounts, oil pan, cross member, measure your drive shaft, and you have it in. So let's just say on a budget build. I do budget builds. I try to make it fair for everyone. I never bought a motor from the junkyard, like I said, but we're going to speak for the average person. Go get you a motor from the junkyard for less than $1,000. You go get you some adapter plates or some motor mounts for about another additional $100. You're going to get your oil pan. The oil pan is probably going to hit you if you go with Holly or something like that. That'll be between $200 to $300 there. And with that alone, just between your motor mounts and your oil pan, you have your motor and transmission sitting in the car. So that's really all it is. You pull your old drivetrain out, you install your new drivetrain. After that, I have a video on doing the fuel system. You do your fuel system and you do your wiring harness. It sounds very simple.
Right.
It sounds very easy, but I kind of mastered the G bodies already. I kind of mastered the B bodies. I kind of know what already works, so it's a little bit easier for me. But like I said, don't let anybody make you feel like it's out of your doing. You can do it.
Right.
Motor mounts, oil pan, transmission cross member, drive shaft. Your motor is in the car and is locked down.
Right. Do you typically recommend getting a radiator too?
Yes. If you guys want to know what radiators I use, the radiator that I use, for example, for most Chevys and stuff like that, you're already at the junkyard pulling your motor and transmission. Right. Go to a 93 to 2002 Camaro and grab you the radiator. And since you're there, grab the dual fans as well. They work. They fit in there perfect. You're going to have to find a way to mount them a little bit, but there's plenty of companies that that sells radiator. I don't know what they call it, radiator support brackets and stuff like that. So, or you can just go to AutoZone, also known as AutoZone. You can buy the LS1 radiator there. The LS1 radiator is about $120, and the fans there are $250. Or if you want to go to the pick your part, go to pick your part. The fans are about $50. I never buy the radiators because I don't know why the car is there, but the radiator I think is like $60 or something like that.
Gotcha.
It's like I said, it's pretty cheap, man. It's not expensive. It's not hard to do. The thing that's going to cost you a little bit is the harness. I don't really recommend people going with Holly is a great company. I don't really never buy their, like the Terminator X's and all that stuff. Unless you're doing like boosted applications and stuff like that, I don't think you need all that stuff. So like I said, just do the bare minimum. Get you a nice braided loom harness, and I think you'll be good with that.
Nice.
LS1, LS6 intake if you're in the car. If you're in the truck, you're more than welcome just to do the truck accessories. What I highly recommend, I always say do it right the first time. Separate your motor, replace all the gaskets. That's valve cover gaskets, rear seal, front seal. You already put a new oil pan on there, so you already have a new oil pan gasket there. You don't want to pull up to a nice event and people are like, oh man, you got a nice LS swap, and then you leave and you got a puddle of blood, also known oil. You have a puddle of oil on the ground, man, and you don't want that. So like, just spend an extra couple bucks and just replace all your seals and gaskets. That way you don't have to go back and do it. But that's how you do an LS swap. It's not hard at all. Very cool.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on the LT side of things. Not necessarily because of the expense, but in my case, with the swap that you're doing back there. The LT1, because of its direct injection, is too tall for the passenger side wiper motor and the heater core inlets. So for B bodies, it's really hard to do the LT1 without doing some fabrication, also the headers will hit the frame rails.
The frame rail, exactly.
Yeah, so you got to stay with LS if you're in the B body world. I'm not sure about the rest.
My buddy actually, he has a 95 Impala. He has the LT4 supercharged in there. He did a lot of fabricating to get it done, but he put it off and he got it done, and it's on the ground running and driving, but I don't know, it's just something for me. I think the LS, like, you don't see LT swap the world, you see LS swap the world. So for the time being, I'm just here with the LSs. Like I said, my name is not LT. what is it, LT Guru. My name is LS Swap Guru. And even now, a lot of people, Guru, you're a teacher and things like that. I'm still learning now, and I've been doing swaps for about, I don't know, maybe like 8 years or something like that. I did my first swap in 2011, so I guess 9 years. But I'm still learning. I try to share everything I can, DIYs and stuff like that. But I mean, check my channel. You guys see just a little bit. I'm trying to introduce a few other things. You guys are going to also see Mike on my channel. Like I said, he's working on that 92 Buick Roadmaster. Maybe we can get some footage of me going over there, helping him out and stuff like that. But he's also going to be helping me out with getting my quality a little bit better. And I think this friendship is going to go a super long way.
Oh, hey, man, I super appreciate that. But okay, cool. I think that's great.